My name is Darryl Ross. I'm from Long Island, New York. I'm here today because I got a story to tell. I'm hoping this video can be put out there to help my situation out, or maybe just to get an ear to listen to me, or maybe a helping hand, or maybe somebody that just wanted to send a prayer for me. I lived in Florida for a few years, and I decided to move back to New York to graduate high school with all my friends, all my childhood friends. So when I came back to New York and I was in school or whatever, I rekindled the old relationship with this girl. Me and this girl, I mean, I guess it started off flirting or whatever, but me and her got real close as like genuine friends. Whenever she needed something, I was there for her. She was somebody I could talk to. I was somebody she could talk to. I helped her through a lot of situations that she was going through. I was always there for her. Like me and her was like, we was real tight. Like we had an ill relationship. As time went by, I guess it turned from a regular friendship to developing feelings for each other. So it was always mainly a strong friendship between me and the girl. As time went on, me and this girl became intimate. And at the time that me and her were intimate, I was in a relationship, she was in a relationship. I actually remember the day she came to my house, and like I said, we was cool. Like we talked about everything. She sat me down and she told me, she was like, I'm pregnant. I'm like, oh, congratulations. Because like I'm thinking that she's telling me, she got a boyfriend. Like I thought she was saying that she was pregnant by him. Nah, me and him have been on a break. I haven't been with anybody besides you. And she told me how she wanted to get rid of it. In all honesty, it's like the people that know me know, like Darryl, I love kids. I love kids. Like to all the kids in the neighborhood, I'm Uncle Wiz. All the kids love me. Like I'm like stepdaddy to everybody's kids. Like not to say it like that, but I'm like a stepfather. I'm like a father figure to a lot of people's kids. Like I love kids. I love being around kids. So yeah, it would have scared me because I'm young. Like at that time in my life, I was, I'm fresh out of high school. Like I got the juice. Like I was the man. I wanted to live. I wanted to act crazy. I wanted to have a crazy life. I wanted to be out there doing what I was doing. It would have scared the hell. It would have scared the shit out of me. Like it would have scared me. I would have been scared, but I would have loved to have a kid. Like that's something I always wanted. I feel like your purpose in life is to repopulate and to have a family and to have an offspring, so that you can have a better version of your legacy. It's like I told I was talking to Charles one day. I was telling Charles, I'm like, yo, say 50% of information in the world. You could pass your information that you know down to your child. With the information that he'll learn throughout his life, he'll have 65% of the information in the world. And then when he passed that down to his child will learn more than he knew back in his time, and his child will have 75% of the information of the world. It's like I feel like the whole point of life is to create the greatest version of your legacy, of your Ross, like your name, your bloodline. It's the point of life is to create the greatest legacy of you. So I feel like the main purpose in life is to create offspring and to have kids. So I always wanted to have kids. It's just that I never wanted to have a kid so early, because when I wanted to have a kid, I wanted to have a family. Me personally, I didn't grow up in a two-parent home where my father was with my mother. I grew up hating my father because of things I didn't know, because he wasn't around, because I had to make my own. I had to draw my own picture because he wasn't there to tell me his side of the story or tell me why he wasn't there. So me personally, when I grew up, I knew I always wanted to have a two-parent household. So to make a long story short, she told me that she was getting rid of the child. She told me the dates that she was going. She didn't want me to go. She wanted her best friend to go with her. So her and her friend went and had the operation done. She sat there on the phone with me before the operation. She called me after, told me that it was done. She told me she was feeling emotional about it, playing a role, telling me how it hurt her, and how she didn't like want to be in contact with me for a little bit. She just needed some time to herself. So I gave her space. I gave her a little bit of space. I would shoot her a text every, let's say 2 days, every 2, 3 days. I'll shoot her a text, check on her, see how she doing. And then she told me she was going to Costa Rica for a little bit to visit family. Time went by, and we kind of ended up, I guess, falling out. Like the situation was so emotional for the both of us, and kind of made things awkward between us that after a few months we fell out. Now, fast forward to this past summer of 2017. Um, I got a message from one of her close friends. She actually never went through with the operation and never got rid of the child. And she felt the need to reach out to me because her boyfriend at the time was Caucasian and the baby started to get a lot darker. So she felt as if the child possibly could have been mine. So she felt the need to inform me about it. Now, when a friend told me about it, she also sent me a picture. Now, I looked at the picture and I seen resemblance. I immediately got in touch with the girl. When I got in touch with her and spoke to her about the situation, the first thing she told me was, "You're crazy. I don't know where you're getting this from. Whoever told you this is crazy." And I guess when I was going back and forth with her, she said so much that kind of made me believe that somebody was cold-hearted enough to go out there and make up a story like this just to hurt me. So I went back and contacted the friend. The friend gave me more information about the situation, and the information I got led me to the point where I could approach her again and give her bold statements and pictures and information about her being in the hospital to where she couldn't deny the fact that she had a kid. She later on contacted my mother and wanted to sit down with my mother and speak to my mother. So when my mom let me know that the girl contacted her, my stomach just dropped, and I was overwhelmed with so much different emotions, so much different thoughts. Like it's just so hard to explain. So her friend that told me about it, her mother's friend and her all met up. She opened up and admitted that it was a possibility that I was the father. When she told me that, she also informed me and my mother that her and her boyfriend decided to sign their parental rights over and have my son adopted. And when she told me that, all I wanted was my son. All I wanted was to find my son. But I couldn't stand to sit here and look on her face and she really tell me that basically she stripped me of all my rights. She stripped me of all privileges. She lied to me, didn't give me a choice, didn't let me decipher, didn't let me try to talk her out of anything. She just took everything away from me and just was going to go about life without informing me about a child that was mine. And it's like the shit just it broke me down. I just want my son. Like, that's a part of me. Like, that's my legacy. It hurts me that me and my son have to suffer for the decisions of one parent when it wasn't up to you. It wasn't just up to her to make that decision of letting go of a child without consulting somebody that you felt could have possibly been the father. Even if for a second that you thought that your boyfriend was the father, that wasn't your decision alone to make, because you knew the possibility of the situation. I'm willing to do anything. I'm trying to do anything to just get my son back. I've met with several different lawyers. I paid a lawyer who later on dropped my case because he didn't want to deal with the situation. I've presented this case to several different lawyers. I've been all up and down the island trying to find a lawyer or find somebody willing to take my case. So many people are not even willing to take my case because of the severity of the situation. It's not just reversing the adoption. It's an adoption litigator that I need. I need an actual adoption litigator to reverse the adoption. I understand the legality of a situation. I understand what I have to go through, but it's just like, honestly, sit there and think about it. Like, in my mind, what I have to go through. Put yourself in my shoes. I'm literally paying and taking the time out to have to go through court and all these different situations and paying for a lawyer and meeting different lawyers and fighting for something that belongs to me. Like, that's my child. I don't scientifically and legally know that he's mine, but it's like I feel it through my, like, in my spirit. I feel the connection through me and my son. Like, I look at the pictures of him, I look at him and I feel him. Like that's my child, that's mine, and I just want what belongs to me. And it's just it's so difficult, it's so hard, it's so stressful, it's so like backbreaking to go through a situation like this. Like, I could have never in a million years expected something like this to happen to me. With this video could possibly get me nowhere, but I'm not gonna give up. I'm never gonna give up on this. I'm gonna do everything I have to do to reconnect this relationship with my son. Christmas passed, and it's funny because I was talking to one of my friends about it. I was laughing about it. I'm like, yo, bro, it's crazy because I'm sitting here watching all these parents stress out and scramble around and go through so much and trying to take from here and put there to make the best Christmas for their kids this year. And it's like, I'm watching, it's like, it's so much, it's so hard for them, and it's real hard for them, and it's real stressful for them. But it's like I want that stress, I want that hassle, I want that headache. I don't want my son to ever think that for a second, when I found out about his existence, I didn't do everything I had to do as a man to try to reconnect what we lost. And I've lost so much memories already with my son. It was his part in this song called "Letter to My Son" by Don Tripp, where he was like, my mama said this shit sure to work out. All the bullshit I'm going through to see my first child, see his first steps, see his first smile, hear his first words, teach him how to count. Like, that just hit me so hard because it's like everything that I wanted, everything that I wanted in a child, everything that I wanted to see in my firstborn son, I missed, and it was taken from me. Like, I was robbed of my happiness. I was robbed of my time with my child. And it's like, the most difficult thing about this whole thing is trying to understand where she's coming from and try to understand why she did what she did. She could change her mind. She can mature, she can grow and realize that the decision that she made was not the decision that she should have. So, yeah, down the line, if she wanted to rekindle her relationship with her son and I had him, I would definitely let her be involved in his life. I wouldn't rob him of any time with his mother. I wouldn't rob him of any memory of his mother. Even with the adoptive parents not cooperating with me, it's like I understand where they're coming from, but at the same time, they got to understand where I'm coming from. So Like I said, if I did get my son, in all hopes that I do get my son, I would still let them be involved in his life as well. They did me a favor. They gave my child love. They gave my child compassion. They gave my child a roof. They fed my child. They gave my child clothes. They're doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And I appreciate them for that. And I got love for them for that. So for that reason, I would still let them be involved in my son's life. 100%. When I found out about my son, I found out my son was a year old. A whole year old. My son's birthday is June 7th. My birthday is June 6th. You can't deny God's work.